How's it going, people? Thanks again for tuning in to another one of our videos. So this one is the Associates Exposed 6B. This continuation from the last one. And just to recap, of course, we went through how Tank become a scammer. Of course, we covered that he'd be being a school teacher, a loving family of wife and 2 sons. Then he become a little bit different. A little things start to change for him as soon as he, well, you could say it's been since he won the $10,000 for losing extremely large amounts of weight. But I think it kind of started just after he was in Big Pharma, because he worked for AstraZeneca and then started his own business up where he was providing well-being, I would say, information for companies and employees of that company and their customers, where they would be able to find healthy information on basically how to do how to live throughout the day, really, eating, like nutrition, exercise, etc. So that was the concept they had through this create business that he had. Now his business partner was pretty paid off with him later on, when he found out, I don't know if Tank, Steffen Rowe, had borrowed money from him to kick the business off, or whatever the profits were, whatever it is, he owed this guy some money and he done a runner. And that might have been the start of him becoming an arsehole and a liar and just greed. Maybe that's what he does to you when you get into business. I mean, I do know some people that have their own businesses, and they have a lot of respect and honor with their businesses. They would, their brand's really important to them, and they would never rip anybody off, whatever service they provide. But this guy just seems to put a lot of effort into the presentation of it. It sells the idea. It's very good at sales. Like I said, he was sales in AstraZeneca, and he encourages people to do things just like him does, to part with their money. And this one, we're going to take it to the next level, where he showed his true colors as a human being, if you want to call him that, where he gets involved with the dinar gurus of selling, basically useless currencies like the Iraqi dinar, Zimbabwean dollars, and Vietnamese dong. Now, Vietnamese dong was actually still trading and still is today. It's not worthless. You can buy it, but the idea was for them to buy all this Vietnamese dong quite cheap. All of these gurus, they get you to buy loads more on top, and it pushes the price up. And of course, they then sell that. I mean, it's all part of trading. It's kind of insider trading, really, but you can manipulate the valuation of currencies. So to start off with, we're gonna kind of take you through the stages of what happened to Tank. Of course, we don't know how he got tapped into selling this dinar stuff. Whatever it is, he become a big face for that community, and it still is running today. I mean, when Tank come in, which is what, 2015, maybe 2016, maybe a bit before, this Iraqi dinar revaluation had been going for 10 to 15 years before that, or even longer. Now, the idea here is these illegal, or they're selling Zimbabwean dollars that are worthless, because the hyperinflation in Zimbabwe at the time meant that if you had $100 trillion note, you could probably just maybe get a day's amount of food in Zimbabwe. That's how worthless the money was. So, of course, now Zimbabwe have their own, have a different, well, they've still got dollar, but it's nothing like hyperinflation. Not like it was back then. But these guys, and still are today, are buying stacks of this stuff for like pennies or cents, depends which currency, which part of the world you're from, and to be selling them for $30 each. Now, Tank and all of his other buddies, they would go to, they would be part of a bigger group that would be selling this stuff, which is a company, well, one big company that got bust was called, I think it was called the DH Group. Now, this company, or should I say at the time, was set up for, you would go to them and buy your Iraqi Dinar and your Zims from them, and they would be selling it also. Yeah, BH Group it was called. And this company, like I said, would sell it through different sources, maybe eBay, or you could go and buy it from them. Of course, Tank would be there doing these free call shows. He'd be a guest, or he'd have his own, and he'd do a lot through Speak Project. And what you would do is you would be buying, it'd say go to BH Group online where you can buy your currency. Of course, then he was also selling gold and silver, which is fine. If someone's buying gold and silver, but a lot of people, it's worth something. I mean, a lot of people have gained a lot of money by investing in gold and silver, but priceless bits of paper, no. And this was what they wanted to do. They wanted you to spend all your life savings, and people were buying this Iraqi dinar and Zimbabwean dollars through this BH Group. This is just one example, and I'll show you a video of them getting bust in a bit. They would, people would have, you think about it, right? $30 for one of these $100 trillion notes. People would be buying 1,000 of those, spending the whole life savings on this. And Tank would do these shows telling everybody that he's in contact. He's got intel. Yeah, this sound familiar? He's got intel where General Mathis, I think his name was, told him that the RV was going to happen soon. And the RV, what it means by RV, for people are not sure about, I've never heard of it, means there was going to do a revaluation of all the currencies around the world. And he had different pots of currencies. So let's say at the moment, the most valuable currencies are probably most likely going to be the dollar, the British pound, and maybe the euro. Well, the revaluation, what it was going to do is put these these worthless currencies into the higher pot. So they wouldn't even be in a pot, these currencies they're talking about, but they'd say, oh, they're going to put them in pot one, which means it'll be like 1 for 1. So if you got $100 trillion note, you would get a dollar for every a US dollar for every Zimbabwean dollar, which meant just one of those and you'd be a trillionaire. Now, the whole idea is they sold this to the people that wanted to help humanity, good, loving people. Not all of them were into it for their own gain, like I want to put it in my pocket. People were putting it, their life savings to buy this so they could help humanity, help their family, help their community. So it was a goodwill gesture, for themselves to do that and help humanity. So they would say, if you want, you go to, like Tank would say, I've just been down to Wells Fargo, and they said that the exchange will be happening next week. Make sure you've got your project, humanitarian project plan with you. Bring your currency down with some proof of who you are, and they will exchange on a particular date. Now, of course, not everybody is, this is how they get around. They'll say not everybody's privy to this, so you need to listen to my shows. Some of these were premium rate numbers you call, and some of them were free call, which they'd make money from that as well. But of course, they kept the bullshit going for years, maybe 2 decades. But for Tank, he would say, I've been told we're going to be exchanging next week. I'm waiting for the 0800 numbers. The 0800 numbers is a phone call number that they give out, and you would phone to make your appointment to go down and exchange your money. And when you go down there, they would create an account for you and put quadrillions of dollars into these bank accounts for you. But you got to have a project plan with you, a humanitarian project plan. So they keep this story going on and on and on. As we'll show you a proof that I'm not lying about this. This is what Tank did. And some of the shady characters he got in with, some of these gurus, which I'm sure they had their own little club. But this BH Group and loads of other companies would be paying the likes of Tank. I mean, these are some of the names. Fisher, Phony, Phone. I think it's Tony that's meant to be, which is TNT Tony. Zap, Bruce, Yosef. These are the guys. Oh, Nick V Fleming, which I'll go into in a minute. This guy's shady as they come. But TNT Tony spent time in prison. There's loads of information on the internet about that. But Tank was selling this to people, good, caring, loving people. And the heartbreaking thing is all the people lost all their money. They would never, ever, ever get their money back for this. Now, there is a little bit of good coming from it. And but you'd have to sell it on. Now, if you go onto eBay and you look for Zimbabwean dollar, let me see if I can bring one up on the screen. All right, have a look at this. You go to eBay, Zimbabwean $100 trillion note. That's $30. Now, if you bought these a while back, you could probably sell them back. But remember, some people bought 1,000 of them. You look very suspicious if you try and sell that. It says there, no longer legal tender. It's basically meant to be for collectors. This is, look, collectible. It says investment, but you're not supposed to sell these things, you know. But yeah, this is basically what it is. It's monopoly money. That's all it is. And it's authenticated, but you'll find this on, I think it was even sold on Amazon. And this is how bad it was. I mean, here's another one. Iraqi Dinar. There you go, look, 1,000 Iraqi Dinar. Oh, sorry, 1 million Iraqi Dinar for 1,619. Now, you could buy this stuff. You could probably sell it and make some of your money back, but it's not easy. And I tell you, you will get in trouble selling this stuff, trying to get all your money back. They'll probably think there's some kind of laundering going on or something. But there is a little bit of light for people that did sell, not Iraqi Dinar, you probably won't get any of that back. But for your Zimbabwean dollars, there are people collecting it. But the thing is, though, are you selling this to the people that bought it for the same intention, thinking they were going to be getting the RV one day? So that makes you just as bad as what Tank would be to get your money back. But some people are desperate. Some people today are struggling to pay their bills. So what do? Do you starve? Or are you going to sell your money back onto someone else? That's pointless. That's basically, you're selling, they're going to fall for the same trick. I mean, if you've got family, you've got children, of course you're going to do that. You're going to have to. Otherwise, your children starve. But this is a situation they're caught in, and it's cruel. And this guy, this arsehole, he did this to these people. And Kim knew about this before he become a member of Life Force or whatever it is she's involved in. You know, she needed someone like Tank, who was clever, really intelligent, good with technology, building websites and apps and things like that. He's got the resources. She needed him. She used Thomas Williams because she was a nobody before. She used him to get a name out there. And she realised he was just an idiot that couldn't really do anything apart from the People's Club. That's it. That's all he had. So she needed to take it to the next level. And she did it by getting Tank on board. Thomas hated Tank. Really hated. He did a couple of shows with him and Dan Lutz, another idiot scammer that did the Swiss Indo scam. Again, all these names. Why would Kim employ someone like that? Why would you associate yourself with someone like that? That's a scumbag. Anyway, let's listen to this call. It's like I said, it's not very good quality, but it's about 8 minutes. And during this, I'll share some screenshots just to show you that he had it on his Speak project. He took that website down, by the way, but we've kept screenshots, and you could probably get it through the web archive if you wanted to. So anyway, have a listen to this.
All right, where are we? Let's see. Tank, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
How you doing tonight?
Oh, I am filled with hope and excited. To be specific, I want the 800 numbers tonight, early morning, actually. I want them at 12:35 a.m. to show up on my phone, and I want to make my appointment for 3:33 a.m., and I want to be completed with my exchange by 5:30 in the morning. And I want the best possible rate. To be specific.
Specific. There you go. Act. Be specific. I stand in agreement with you and declare it to be so.
Yes. Oh, I'd also like to be picked up. I'd like to be picked up.
Well, from my information, you will be picked up.
Now, here's my dream. Here's how I see it happening. I want guys to show up in a Humvee. I want them to show up, and I want them to say, "Are you, say my name. Are you Steffen Rowe, a.k.a. the Tank?" And I'm just going to say, "No, just Tank." And then they'll know it's me. Hop in that car and roll out.
Well, you definitely will have to show ID.
No problem. No problem.
And then you will be escorted.
Yes, indeed. I'm about it. I like that. So, yeah, that's it. And I'll say this. I can't be too specific, just to, this late day, I don't want to be. What? I'm sorry?
For security's sake.
Right. We don't want to give away sensitive military positioning or anything. But I did hear there were a certain number of exchange centers that were shut down, or not shut down, but they were debilitated because of the hurricane, Harvey, which I thought was perfect, right? Harvey, the RV. And it appears that they have about, last I checked, about 40% of them back up and running, or around there. So I'm told, so that's good news. I'm also hearing that the actual redemption process is in full effect around the world, and I know that there was hundreds of thousands of them done yesterday, and at the same time they were done in harmony with arrests. that were taking place for the nefarious characters who apparently had an agenda that did not align with helping humanity. And I believe that's kind of the method and protocol. So they're allowing redemptions and exchanges to go through, and at the same time they are containing the enemy.
Awesome. I love it.
Which I feel great about that personally. You know, that I'm glad to know that's happening. I'm glad to know that this money will not be falling into the wrong hands with people with ulterior motives, and I think that's very exciting. And we are hearing very positive reports, as we often do, that notifications, what manner they come out in, I really don't know. But that notifications are, something that we'll see here, anytime from in the next 5 hours to the next 40 hours, we'll say. And it looks like all the evidence is supporting that. I just got an article from about General Mattis saying that he's lost faith in the president. I think that's a pretty good indicator of where we could be. Not to call a shot, because obviously the stories that surround Trump are, constantly swirling. So it's hard to say what they're going to bring out and what they're going to do, and how that's going to play out. But as far as I can tell, I mean, it looks like it's just amazing. We have all types of positive information coming from the various groups that are receiving notice and getting very hopeful reports of this week. Of course, we've had those for the past several weeks, but it looks like now they're actually happening. We're actually seeing those results, and people are, I think, kind of disappearing from the dinar world. And I think they have multiple release strategies. I think that is accurate. There's multiple release strategies going on right now. And those multiple release strategies, they make it a little unnerving for us, but I think ultimately that is, for our safety, to keep the enemy off guard. And that's kind of what I got. If people want to know something specific, I'll hang out for a little bit.
Okay. Well, there were several came in the queue. Let's see if they had comments or questions for you. Hold on. Thank you, by the way, for coming in. We appreciate it.
Oh, listen, I'm on call for you. I'll clear my schedule anytime you ask.
I love you, Kate. Thank you.
Likewise.
Okay. 507.
That's great. Tank, thanks for making me smile.
Man, thank you for using that. Go ahead, man. What's up?
Well, that was the main thing I wanted to say is thank you for making me smile, because you just made me laugh, and that was awesome. I like your specifics. Cool. So, I mean,
sorry, yeah.
We're all waiting, and it's just awesome. You keep optimistic, and it's fantastic. So
they can't beat us, man. They can't beat us. I'm telling you right now. I am very much on the edge of my seat. Fisher had said that a few days ago, right?
Yeah.
Last Wednesday. Stop being on the edge of your seat. And I'll tell you, I have a lot of respect and appreciation for Fisher, and I feel like he's a man of business. He's got a very, as a matter of fact, kind of demeanor, right? And if Fisher tells you to be on the edge of your seat, I think there's a reason. And I think that was last Wednesday night. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that China actually released the RV last Thursday.
Right.
So he knew what he was talking about, right?
Yeah.
Now, as far as it hitting us is kind of the big question. And I guess, there's various rumors that perhaps, the hurricane is the reason for the delay. But I don't think it'll delay it that long. I mean, look, Up to this
I mean,
point, you know,
we've had things like that. We've had things like that before, though, right? Hurricanes and all that stuff. Say, well, it's delayed because of that. Every excuse is always available, right? So you get discouraged when you're using the old excuses.
No, they're not, man. No, they're not. Because in the past, you know, when we heard there was excuses, there wasn't really an excuse. Okay, they would say that because it was convenient, but in this case, that's you know, there's really no way for them to get over.
So there you go. Showed you some screenshots there, which is pretty bad, really. I mean, here's an example here. Someone put on a Twitter about tanks doing a night call. This is 2018. And this is when he got in with Kim. And they're talking about, see even here at the bottom, Man of World Holding Trust. The guy got into a situation towards the end where Kim, she headhunted him. And like I said, she tapped into the RV movement and she recruited them, all of these resources, and all of those followers started following her. It's crazy. The whole thing is absolute crazy. Now, another thing I wanted to show you is the kind of type of scumbag that he gets involved with is if you look at this screenshot here, this is a Twitter from December 30th, 2017. Said he's going on a call. And it's gonna be, of course, him, Nick V Fleming, and Paul from the legal counsel. I don't know, maybe that could be Paul Yokohama, which I'm gonna go on to later on. Another scammer that Tang got involved with. But look at this guy, Nick Fleming. We'll show you this guy, Nick Fleming here. He's talking about the RV. This is I don't know if you can see a picture of him there. It's kind of pixelized there. But we'll show you what this scumbag did to rip people off. So he got arrested, this guy, well before he got into the RV, for ripping someone off in a trying to sell a gold mine to someone. It's just crazy. Here's another screenshot with him. Here, look, follow, create change. So he was buddies in with him. Nick Fleming again, TNT show. This is the TNT Tony. So they're all in the same club together, trying to rip people off. Now, just going back to what Tank had put in one of his updates here. He's talking about, he shared a screenshot here of this US Capital private bank. And don't know if I can bring that one up. Where is it? Can't find it now. I think it's this one. So this one? Yep. This is him here talking about the US Capital. Is it a scam? Well, they didn't respond to me, so I'm not sure. In my opinion, there is a scam that has used their name, but that doesn't mean that the bank isn't real. But proceed with caution. Of course he's going to say that, because a lot of people found out that this guy that runs this private banking was in fact, if you look at this, US private bank ETO. I tried to show you that in the screenshot. Ricky Nanthiel, His Royal Highness Imperial Majesty Ricky Nanthiel. He owns this company. Okay. Imperial Sovereign Banking License Certificate. US Capital Private Bank ETO. This guy, Iraqi Dinar, as you can see, is a master con artist. Look him up. He's a man with many names. He's been involved in all this scamming all the way down. It's just unbelievable that all of this with Kim's technology, that she could probably work this out herself, that Tank was a scammer. Why couldn't she work it out himself, that Tank was a scammer? I mean, she's got the Kim system, so surely she should be able to see that. Well, I'm going to show you a blog now of this is a what we call a Dinar Daily blog. You can have a look at it yourself. I'll put the links in here. About who is Steffen Rowe's Tank's friend, Nick V Fleming. Says here, fraudulent company, Tesoro del Alma. Says in here, I contacted a Mr. Nick Fleming of Del Alma Mine to ask about some of the opportunities that we're offering with regards to his mine investment possibility. He told me that for $500,000, I could own 45% of this mine. I mean, I won't go in on it, but if you look down here, as we go further into it, there's loads of information. I'll put the link in there. This is the guy. If we click on this link, these are people I've done a lot of research on this Nick Fleming. I haven't looked into it. There's a picture of him there. This is the scumbag here. Look, 2018. This picture was taken on 2018 before leaving to go to court over keeping my mining claims in the Caballo Mountains. Remember the picture I showed you of him? That's Nick V Fleming. The guy was arrested. You go look. Sierra County Sheriff's Office deputies executed a warrant Tuesday morning, April 25th, on the same building to recovered. Nick V Fleming was arrested after New Mexico Regulation Licensing Department Securities Division invested spamming of over 2 years. So Fleming was arrested on 74 felony counts, including racketeering, embezzlement, securities fraud. This guy is unbelievable. This bit in here, see, I found that between January the 1st, 2014, 2017, there have been 23 known victims investing a total of $1.6 million into this mine. There he is there being arrested. You know, the guy's a scumbag, and this is not very difficult to work any of this out. Kim, again, got the Kim system. She can't be bothered to do any checkups on this guy. It's just unbelievable. There was something else I wanted to share with you. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. And this kind of like will bring us nicely into the next episode. So this is basically the saying that this don't know what a arch group is. Not really sure. Maybe someone can put that in the comments there. But they were looking into the RV stuff, and what happened is they got caught. A group of people got caught and arrested, and I think a lot of them was part of this BH group as well. And as soon as he was arrested, these people arrested, Tank started disassociating himself with anything to do with this BH group. Somebody is saying, look, my family, a family member involved with this guy and there was a whole lot of information to get through here. What is Create Change, and how do they really plan on helping so many people with $300 billion grant? I'm just trying to protect my family. Let's get involved in this, something that's shady. So there's a lot. Somebody said Steffen Rowe, the Arch Group, and the whole host of a shady individual and the groups all riding the great Iraqi Dinar RV scam. The scam has been going for quite a few years, and legitimate finance sources of the FBI all declared it a scam. Right, so there are forms that people can fill in, and people are getting arrested. They were getting arrested, shall I say, for doing this scam. There's another bit here. You even mentioned Kim. There's a bit here where someone's been. So I'm not very well prepared for this. This is a guy that was doing it as well. This guy was doing exactly what Tank was doing, and he got put in jail. Him and his wife doing the same thing. There she is there. They're lapping it up there after 6 million vet. They got con people out of 6 million. These are all linked. All these people are linked to the same crew. And this was talking about the US Capital Private Bank. Just showed you. They're saying the same thing. Who this is linked to? Ricky, another bad guy. Where's that thing up here about the trust? Sorry, there was a bit in here. I've misplaced it, but it was where you, if you want to add, like if you, for anyone that's got in part of this RV thing, when it went over to Kim, Tank started asking people for $30 to invest. Let me see if I can find it. I said if you can, if it was 30, I think it's 30 pounds or $30 or something like that to become part of this. But what I'll do is I'll find it, and what I'll do is I'll put it in the next video. But what I want to share with you today is a video of this BH group. Hopefully it won't play straight away.
Millions. They created fantasy hedge funds and a story about a hero that helped reel in the cash.
I was in the military for 12 years.
Federal prosecutors say you're listening to a man lie through his teeth.
I was in Iraq. I suffered an injury, and because of that, I had to have a liver transplant.
That's Rudy Conan. He claims to be a war hero who was even awarded a Purple Heart.
A 50 caliber machine gun bullet ripped through his shoulder.
And that's his business partner backing him up.
Rudy was laying there in Iraq, bleeding to death.
You're about to see how a load of military lies helped a group of men fleece investors out of millions. A scam so lucrative, cash had to be stacked against walls, hidden in drawers, even stuffed into an oven.
It's an insult to every veteran, especially those who actually were wounded in combat.
According to prosecutors in the Northern District of Ohio, the lies began with this man, Brad Hubner. He started a business called the BH Group to sell Iraqi currency. And along with his partner, Charles Amenaker, told potential investors that one day Iraqi currency known as dinar would skyrocket in value, and buying it right now could make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Assistant U.S. Attorney Matthew Shepard.
And the promise was that Iraq was going to revalue their currency, that dinar, which was currently 1,100 dinar to the dollar, and then all of a sudden overnight, the exchange rate would change.
And at the low end of what they were promising, it was about a 70,000% rate of return instantaneously. And I think the high end was well over 100,000%.
He says all investors had to do was buy dinar through BH. On average, the company charged a 20% markup, and investors would get stacks of the Iraqi cash in the mail. Assistant U.S. Attorney Gene Crawford.
They sold massive amounts of Iraqi currency. They were shipping it. People could come in and purchase.
And that's exactly what investigators caught on this undercover video.
Mr. Huber, I'd like to go ahead and buy a small amount of dinars right now.
The guy in the yellow shirt?
Okay.
He's the dinar salesman.
To reel in more investors, prosecutors say the group recorded weekly conference calls and posted this infomercial on YouTube.
Welcome to the BH Group. My name is Brad Hibner.
They called the revaluation the blessing. The blessing may be coming around Christmas. You know, it's looking good for the 4th of July.
Prosecutors say BH brought in Rudy Conan, a supposed Wall Street bigwig and Desert Storm war hero. Here's Brad talking up Rudy on a conference call.
Former VP of JP Morgan.
And Rudy has a background at being in Iraq. He left part of his shoulder there.
Prosecutors say Rudy did actually join the Marines, but never even made it through boot camp. And as for his Wall Street cred, he worked at JP Morgan Chase for 1 day.
Apparently they discovered he wasn't what he said he was.
Here's Rudy telling investors he'll make them rich.
I talk to my guys on Wall Street. I'm very well connected on the street.
With Rudy in place, prosecutors say the group told investors they were starting hedge funds for all the soon-to-be millionaires. But first, there was an upfront fee. Investors sent BH more than $23 million to buy Dinar and some $700,000 for hedge funds that didn't exist. Brad was literally rolling in the cash.
He was making multiple trips to the bank to make sure that his cash deposits at the bank were all under $10,000.
He says the IRS caught wind of unusual financial transactions and began checking in to Brad.
They found stacks of this Iraqi currency everywhere in the office. They were keeping dinar in the stove. They had it in all the cabinets.
Rudy Conan pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 63 months in prison. After trial, Brad Hubner and Charles Ameneker were convicted of wire fraud and more. Hubner sentenced to 87 months in lockup and Ameneker to 33.
So there you have it. What more can I say? You've got 100% proof there that Tank was shady. This is covered probably most of the Dinar stuff. I don't really want to go into that bit anymore. But our next one will be going into another character that we haven't covered before. Although we may have mentioned him. But this is the guy here, Paul Yokohama. Same guy here. We found he's got 2 names, Paul Shelton. And yeah, I mean, he doesn't live at those addresses anymore, but as you can, it's the same guy. He lived at the same address, but he's come back. He's actually a disbarred lawyer, but now he's in with Tank. Well, he was in with Tank, selling trusts, and he was involved with Kim. Why would you use a disbarred lawyer to do this kind of thing? We'll cover that in the next video. Anyway, thanks very much everyone for watching this video. Please comment and like and subscribe. We really appreciate that. Take care now. Bye bye.